it'd be really interesting actually to have a look at especially people that don't have an improvisation practice to find what their comfort like go-to vocals would be. And mine is the lizard. Because I just think like
Is that Is that the lizard?
No, the lizard is just the
Hello, my name is Lachlan Watt, and music is my life. So it has been more than a month since I released an episode of the pod, and that's mostly because I've been out on the road for a month. However, I was recording chats for the podcast the entire time, and I'm excited to start sharing them with you. Before I went out on the road with I Killed the Prom Queen, the first half of my time away was spent in the Northern Territory, mostly for Blacken Open Air, an epic 3-day camping metal festival at the Ross River Resort, 1 hour drive out of Alice Springs. This is an event I have been attending since its first incarnation more than a decade ago. And that's where this week's episode was filmed with my friend KARINA Utomo. Making a name for herself as a vocalist in the post-hardcore group Young and Restless and the ARIA-nominated metal band High Tension, KARINA has since gone on to perform as both a solo and collaborative improvisational vocalist, as well as lead the experimental black metal trio KILAT. And these topics are the main focus of our poolside desert chat. Here's some of the KILAT set from the night prior. As usual, I was flustered by video technology, so the podcast starts off a little rough until I got a handle on the audio a couple of minutes in, but I've left it all in there for you to give the full context. My name is Lachlan Watt, music is my life, I'm excited to be back releasing these, and now I give you my conversation with KARINA Utomo. Cheers.
ASMR. It's like that Dinosaur Jr.
Sounded like a fart.
You know that noise in the Dinosaur Jr. track? Feel the Pain is the song.
So how are you enjoying being back at Blacken?
It's so good. Yeah, I think I was telling you that the last time we played was in the old setting in the town. So coming out to the resort is really special. I'm so impressed, to be honest.
Yeah, it's pretty insane.
Yeah, and a great deal of work has gone into it, and I think everyone really appreciates it.
Cool. I'm sorry. I think I just need to. Maybe you might need to angle your
like this
mic up a little bit more.
Angle
Perhaps the gain up a little bit.
Oh yeah, like this.
Yeah,
is that
just
good?
Speak more directly into the top of it. Otherwise, it's going to be a bit patchy.
This is my life. People telling me how to use the mic. I'm just kidding. No, that sounds way better. Yeah.
Do you get sound people or sound guys probably of more than anyone else just lecturing you on microphone technique ever?
Occasionally it'll happen, and then it just reminds me that that's just something that happens. But it's fine. It's just funny to me. Yeah. But especially when it's like, this is how you hold the mic.
I don't think I've ever even paid attention to how you hold the mic. Are you a microphone cupper, or you kind of maybe you hold it out a bit, like fully exposed, right?
Just a few different things. I think I don't know, you get used to it, like sometimes I'll have two mics and then, and I don't know, I think if you hold it a particular way, you can capture different things. So, but yeah, you got me on those SEs and they're so much easier to use. They're just not like super temperamental. I used the Audix mics and I think I dropped one and it just like cooked it. So these ones are really robust. So I'm really happy with them.
Nice. Fresh beer for the pod.
Yes. Thanks, tour manager.
And a fresh fruit juice. Thank you, wife. Love it. Yeah. Oh, good on the food.
How do you feel being back in Alice Springs?
It's nice. I think I was telling you about how I was a little bit hesitant to come up for it because it's just such a huge financial commitment, and just I kind of feel like I'd done my dash a little bit with all-day metal festivals, but obviously this is quite different. But I'm really glad that Pirate convinced me to make it happen, and we made the trek. I think the last Black I would have been to was probably the one you played, 2018.
Yeah. But you've pretty much got the, the most like hole punches in the Black and Coffee card.
Yeah.
Because you've been to every single one.
Yeah, except for 2019 and 2022. So this is my first one since it moved out to this site.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Amazing.
It was pretty funny last night. Me and Rach were sitting in the one of the, I think, green roomy area. They had a bunch of like food and snacks and stuff laying around, and I just started getting stuck into some carrots and dip, and Rachel's like, no, you don't do that, or like chuck it in your bag, we'll eat it later or something. And I'm like, there's someone coming, and I'm like, don't worry about it, babe, I'm practically royalty around here. And then this lady rocked up and was like, oh, Lockie, how you going? Been so long, like help yourself, all good.
No, for sure. But I think you also convinced a lot of people to, like in the early days, I do remember so many posts that you encourage people to come to Blacken. So yeah, absolutely, you're entitled to those carrots.
Yeah, your KILAT set last night was fucking phenomenal. I've seen the band probably half a dozen times at this point, and that was definitely the best so far.
Thank you. Yeah, it was lots of fun for us. We've been writing. We recorded our second album with Jason Fuller, and we got it mixed by Xavier, and then we got to play some new songs in the new set.
Yeah, nice.
That was good. The set we played last night was the succinct version. It's just one less song, but that one song takes like 7 minutes. But it's kind of nice, like at a festival, you don't want to be taking up too much time. Have it going on for a long time.
Yeah, so all the touring's really honed it in, huh?
I think so. I'm getting, into my 40s now, so you do have to be really strategic in your discipline. But yeah, I think my max is probably like 4 shows in a row. But there is something really, I don't know, there's a lot to learn, and there's a lot of kind of like just getting into the discipline of like being on tour again and having a bit of a routine and really enjoying that kind of like that process, I guess. Yeah.
Do you do much to maintain your voice outside of touring?
Absolutely. I think over the years, it's like any sort of like thing with like, I don't know, experience or aging. Like people talk about aging like it's a bad thing, but I think, you just have a lot more experience, but also resources to maintain like a really good practice or a good discipline, and knowing the benefits of that. But then, I'm also obviously like maintenance is really important, but I'm also I think it's important to like have this kind of desire to expand the repertoire as well, because like with the voice there's it's this like kind of such a volatile medium, so you have to do so much to maintain it, but then there's so many possibilities with what you can do with the voice, and that's kind of like a really exciting world to explore. And I think it's also really important to not like kind of like to be excited that you're never going to run out of ideas, or these possibilities aren't going anywhere. So there's this abundance of like, oh my God, there's so many things I want to learn and try out with the voice, or with various like projects, or or making new albums or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, I've only recently, as I've gotten older, started actually caring about like my vocal health and just ability, so to speak, as I started to kind of notice it declining with playing less frequent shows and whatnot. And yeah, it was kind of a rude awakening. The last recording I did, just noticing that I wasn't being able to sustain and hold stuff as long and reach the range and stuff that I was used to being able to do just by doing nothing. And now it's like, okay, I got to do exercises regularly to just stay on top of it.
For sure. And I think like sometimes I do feel a lot of vocalists see it as work. So I have like a really good friend who I consider he has like one of the like best vocal ranges. His repertoire is so rich, and when we were in Jogja, I still love to do karaoke in my spare time. And he was like, why do you want to do karaoke? Like we're singing all the time. And I was like, yeah, exactly. Like, why not? It's all like, I don't know, like it does something to you. Like you feel, you sing for so many different reasons. And yeah, it's fun to just like sing other people's songs too. And I think I don't think he'd like thought about it like that you can actually just sing for pleasure. Like obviously it's pleasurable to sing in your own project and stuff, but you can also, there's so many ways that you can, I don't know, get joy out of singing. That sounds really silly, but yeah, why not? Like it's so much fun if it makes you happy. And I think he like on New Year's Eve, he was like, I did karaoke on my own on New Year's Eve and it was the best thing. And it's like, yeah, I think if you're, you do have a vocal practice, you just like that's exactly what it is. You have to just sing all the time, whether it's doing vocal exercises or, I don't know, singing in the shower, singing in the car. Yeah.
So you were saying that happened that conversation in Jogja?
In Jogja, yeah.
So KILAT just did a Asia tour a couple of months back?
Yep. We did like a tour in Java in 2023, which was really epic. And I don't think we had like anticipated what that would be like. So we were pretty blown away, and I think there is something different, like, because a lot of our song, like all of our songs is in Bahasa Indonesia. I guess it lands differently because there's that kind of less abstraction there in, how people experience the music. But I think also from a cultural perspective, there was a lot of very clear references that people understood in terms of like, I guess, I don't know, however you want to say, like the ritual aspect, the collective aspect of coming to a live show, but also, I don't know. And my theory is that in places like Indonesia, and I've never been to South America, but I can sort of see a parallel where there's like, if there's, this kind of volatility, and a very kind of interesting and violent history. And then that, as a confluence with a very kind of like old culture, lots of different spiritual, animus practice. It kind of is just the perfect, perfect storm for a fertile sort of metal scene. And it kind of ticks all the boxes. It makes total sense to me that there are a lot of metal fans and a lot of extreme metal fans, and things just land. And this kind of connection is very, very rich, and very different to other places, because there's not kind of like, I don't know. I think in certain places we've had, especially in so-called Australia, there's a lot of like erasure of like connection to culture. Whether you're you've a generation from settlers, and yeah, just the history of white Australia. But yeah.
And those are the kind of themes that you write about in KILAT, right?
Yeah, I think a lot of things I've been looking into, archaic languages, because that's sort of what a lot of like mantras are written in archaic Javanese languages called Bahasa Kawi, and I think there's like, I don't know, I'm interested in this kind of like old technology or old formulas, just, I don't know, just like as a genuine interest, but also this kind of continuation of like ancestral knowledge, I guess. But how that would work in a contemporary sense as well. And I think we, like I'm an immigrant Javanese Indonesian diaspora, but I've also I don't speak Javanese, so there's multiple things at play here where it's like wanting to feel connected again to the culture, but also having the agency to make something or reimagine something in a contemporary sense, and and being, I don't know. I guess that's the expression. That's the practice of this evolution of culture. Continuation, and this is the whole contemporary world where drawing from things that perhaps are innate, or something that like resonates with us, and you're making new music, and you're part of the living, breathing thing that is culture.
And so like the process of writing vocals, lyrics for KILAT is sort of just as much of a live action kind of research project for you, just in terms of learning the history and the languages as you go through it?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think like, I think I don't necessarily have kind of like too many strict boundaries on like, this is a project that like just explores these things, because I mean, it's so vast, and it's also a collaborative project. So, and there is a high degree of, I guess, alchemy, or what happens in the dynamics of when three people collaborate. and what happens. So it's not just me like coming up with shit. I guess it's responsive as well to
what your bandmates are
yeah,
thinking.
exactly. And that's the fun part of like, doing a collaborative project. And it's like, and it's like, I feel like to me it's really symbolic with, like in metallurgy or whatever, you combine, I don't know, copper and tin and you make bronze, and it's this like much like, it's a whole other new entity with different benefits and different like, it's a totally different thing.
Different flavors, different
Yeah.
use cases.
Yeah. So yeah, I think that's also why I've always enjoyed a collaborative format.
Nice. I think the end result is very unique. KILAT is a very unique band.
Thank you. We just have lots of fun, and like
But you look so serious on stage. It's not like anyone's up there smiling. You're all being grim as fuck.
We just get in the zone, and like, I think it's pretty incredible. Like, BA has been in some pretty like, like seminal, iconic bands that growing up has been a huge influence. My Disco, Agents of Abhorrence, and he's got so many stories, and he's got like, and he's still like making incredible new ideas,
The amount of sounds he gets out of just one guitar is unreal.
I know. It's like, it's insane. But that's also part of the experience is like, we need to feel and it needs to be that loud, and I always feel so crazy when I ask for more guitars through the monitors. But it's almost kind of like this weird balance because it's, coming from the back, but then it also has to come from the front. So I don't know. I also don't understand how some bands can play without that stage monitor like sound. Anyway, but maybe I'm just a millennial and
Yeah, Run's kind of, with the latest lineup, recently made the jump from traditional amps to like the Kempers or whatever they're called, and
Kempers.
it's so much easier for traveling, but I really miss having the stage sound.
I think there is this, maybe it's like this physical, like, this a physical phenomena where like resonance does something, to your body, and then I think that extra resonance is important for the voice, because it sort of like, I think that it can feel that like there's a disparity when you don't have that kind of like really kind of intense loud stage sound where your voice feels so separated. So you kind of need it to be, in the kind of like in the soup.
Yeah.
You need to like ride the soup with the, I don't know. I don't know if like, I don't know. I think I would like, maybe the feeling is like I would feel dry.
Yeah.
It's just a bit like,
Yeah, totally.
I don't know.
It's funny saying in this soup just kind of reminded me of how I felt in a way seeing you at Dark Mofo with one of your other projects. Like, is that just you as a solo act? That what we saw that night? Like,
so that project is with Rohan Ribeiro from My Disco as well. I just need to start a project with Liam now. No, I'm just kidding. And my friend Josh Wells from, so his moniker is Nerve. He does like live hardware techno, like heaps of drum machines, super industrial. and Rohan, like his setup is basically an oil drum, and I think he has. Oh my god, I'm not a percussionist. I'm gonna just embarrass myself. He has a congo, a bass drum set up like a floor tom, and then he has like a bunch of steel things like rods, and incredible experimental percussionist. And then it's just those three things. But that is an actual project with three people. Yeah.
Yep.
And largely improvised. There are some like, I guess like some skeleton structures to the tracks that, you know, are prompts.
Are you just kind of responding to the crowd in a way, or just...
Yeah, just responding to each other. And Rohan was the who had the idea to have like little solos in the set, which I like. I don't know. Yeah, so I'll have a little like Scrams aria in the middle of it all as well. Yeah.
I think I told you this story, but I figure it would be amusing for the sake of the podcast. But I was just like basically in a K-hole in the smokers at night mass at Dark Mofo, just like staring at, I don't even know, just fucking lost in the smoking area for what felt like hours, but was probably like 5 minutes. And then just kind of heard the music sort of change inside to something a bit darker and crazier, and just kind of felt myself going in that direction. And I just couldn't.
You were like, follow the music.
Couldn't fucking see shit. Couldn't
Oh my
figure
gosh.
out like where anyone was. And then I can't remember who came first, if it was Rachel or Mikey, but I think I found Rach. I think it was either found Rachel or Mikey, and then we like walked towards the stage, and the other one was there, and it was just like, and then looked up, and it was you, and it was just like, that was the first clear kind of thing that sort of coalesced in my vision after God
Oh my
knows how
God.
long of just been lost in this fucking drug soup of psychedelic haze. And then it was just like, whoa, where's Karina? It was like this real like seeing God kind of moment. It was fucking nuts.
So did I get you out of the K-hole?
Yeah, basically.
Oh my God. That's so sick.
Dragged me out.
Holy shit, that's so epic. Yeah, it was so much fun. And
I had a great night.
Yeah. Yeah, but that was an incredible Dark Mofo. And it was so good to be back. It's still like absolutely still one of my favorite festivals.
Yeah, and you did another like actual solo project at Dark Mofo, if you want to tell us about what that was. 'Cause I only saw it on the recording. I didn't get to see it live.
Yeah, absolutely. So a couple of years ago, I was commissioned by a couple of curators. They had an idea to make a video work. I'm not, like I don't really dabble in the fine art world, but I was happy to, give it a crack. And so we made a, we conceived a video work, and then that work was it was for an exhibition in Melbourne. The project was called Project 8 Gallery, and it was a group exhibition with other artists, and I think it landed really well. I made a sculpture. I made my first kind of like visual art piece, which I worked with a fabricator whose name is Reg Davis, and I was really happy with it. So I had these like 2 works in the exhibition, and it was I think it was well received because it was on this other like touring exhibition that was from MMCA, which is the Museum of Modern Contemporary Art in Seoul in Korea. So it was shown in Seoul, and then it was shown in Tono in Mexico, at in Massachusetts, at all these institutions. So I was like, whoa, it's kind of wild. And I didn't get to travel to all those pieces, but I call it my simulacrum because it's just this live video, improvised, just vocals, just one take. And then like maybe a year ago or the year before, 2024, I got a email from the new creative director, that he was interested in it. So I sent him some information about the work, and I sort of had no idea that they would kind of like install it in this kind of
turn it into a whole thing,
incredible setting with Travis Ficarra's work, which is just so his work is so stunning. The Chocolate Goblin. But I also loved how they installed it facing one another. So it was just like this goblin watching TV, this giant TV of the Scram solo. So as part of that installation, which I've done like different iterations, I do, I guess, like a live activation where I just perform solo. I'm definitely out of my comfort zone performing solo, but there is something very interesting there that happens. Maybe it's the feeling of not having the other elements in the space, but technically, I don't know, it feels like I'm still collaborating with the simulacrum.
I was going to say, does it feel like, do you go into it having like a kind of plan or an outline, or are you just scatting?
No, I do have a little bit of an outline, but then anything sort of kind of goes. I think when you, I mean, for me, the improvisation is that, say I have a toolbox of my repertoire, and I know that it's there, and I kind of do like a little bit of a stock take of, as a backup, and then I can just kind of reach for the tools. But then you're sort of doing this like, I guess, live composition. But then you kind of like, I don't know, maybe sometimes you're like, I don't know, if you're feeling a little bit risky and you want to try and do something that you don't normally do, that is like the time. And it could be bad, but that's also whatever. But that also keeps it like a little bit spicy, like I think, having, I've been playing music for since I was, 16, and there is something liberating about not having to like stick to the, those are the lyrics that you wrote to that song. Got to do that chorus a particular way, this and that. So if you've got that kind of openness and flexibility to, do something in the moment.
Goblin noises in front of a big giant goblin.
I call that repertoire the lizard noise, which I don't know. That's like my first. I think that's my first response. It'd be really interesting actually to have a look at, especially people that don't have an improvisation practice, to find what their comfort like go-to vocals would be. And mine is the lizard, because I just think like,
is that is that the lizard?
No, the lizard is just the but I don't know, sometimes I think it sounds a bit like sleep apnea or something, but but I don't know, I think like it would be interesting to look into that, and how how people conjure or summon like noise, especially if you're a like extreme metal
like
musician.
What the default demons sitting at the closest disposal might be.
Yeah, like for example, like I have it's in performance or even recording, like when I have to utilize my voice and access that kind of more extreme repertoire or textural repertoire, whatever you want to call it, it's really important that I can visualize the landscape or the environment to manifest the noise.
So what you're thinking about a setting, like a scene that you're kind of like painting while you're doing that?
Yeah. And then it just sort of like, it all happens in the body and then it comes. So I don't know, I'm interested sometimes because for me, extreme metal is so visual, not from actually seeing somebody play live, but if from a sonic perspective, it conjures up particular imagery because the sounds are so primordial, instinctual, all of these things that perhaps feels quite unseen, but you can just so see clearly in your mind's eye. I don't know, the pig squeal. That is an innovation. I don't know. What happens to you when you're using your voice? What happens to your body viscerally? What happens?
I don't think I've ever just sat there and tried to do anything like what you do with that. When I'm using my voice, it's on the tracks of a song, I'm within the boundaries. I might just sometimes, if I'm warming up, I'll just do a bit of a boopity beepity blah, 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 blah. I don't know. But yeah, I can't say I've ever really just let myself just float and see what happens with screaming like that before. It'd be interesting though, as you say.
Do you name the things that you go to? Things
I guess I've just got highs, lows, mids,
a
pitched yell, a pitched sort of scream. I don't really have little cute nicknames.
Yeah.
But thinking about it, I'm sure I could probably have this seagull or a fucking
seagull.
Rooster or something. I don't know.
Do the seagull.
I think the seagull would be like a real high pitched kind of squawky ones.
Yeah. I think the fun thing is there's so much crossover in for example, if I tried to learn the seagull, the traditional vocal warm up for that would be to do all the head voice warm ups, where you go, ooh, 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 the blowing falsetto sort of style, and I never realized that all of the traditional or the vocal warm ups for opera singers or for people who use their voice in any way definitely works if you use your if you're an extreme metal vocalist, because it's all we have all these formulas that actually work well for one another, and then you can kind of tweak them a little bit to work with the
Have you ever come across any other vocalists that do anything similar to what you do with this solo kind of performance art metal vocal thing? I've never come across it before in my life. Perhaps even not with non-metal vocals. I can't obviously you got solo singers of all types, but in terms of just someone sitting in a gallery just improvising like that, I've never seen it before with anyone.
I don't know. I think no, absolutely, it's not. I don't think it's anything super pioneering, because there are a lot of performance artists that use their voice or and their body. I do think the voice and the body is one entity, and there are a lot of really incredible experimental singers that over the years, definitely I've seen a crossover between experimental voice and extreme metal or metal, just kind of these genres are getting or worlds are getting blurred. together. And I think that perhaps what it is like, I guess, a currency that you have in one world. And this is not my concept, but a curator had described it to me as like having currency in one world and it being very valuable in another world. For example, you've had like a discipline of playing in bands, you're utilizing your vocals, for decades. So you've built that, you've built your repertoire, and you've built that currency. And, in worlds like fine art, they appreciate virtuosity, I guess. Someone that's been working as, been mastering a particular, not even mastering, but just like you do something for long enough, continue the evolution of your practice. And I guess people appreciate that because they want to see,
You must get some insane feedback from like people that have never seen like metal vocals live before, right?
Yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting when people experience the work and they don't understand the points of reference. So they can be very revealing in what they know or their points of interest. I think there was like a review about where they tried to describe it like, I've never seen a single Harry Potter, but whatever that Harry Potter, like, what is it? I don't know. Like,
yeah,
and then they linked it, and so that's really interesting. I think like maybe there is something there when people don't understand the points of reference, but then when people do understand it, it's also really interesting because they also acknowledge that it has been reworked, reinterpreted. It exists in this present moment in a contemporary sense.
It makes me think of the time I was at Mona. What must have been like 2015 or 2016 or something, and maybe it was later than that. I don't know, but there was the year that Mayhem played with like Godspeed You Black Emperor, like on the grounds at Mona Foma, and like Mayhem's playing like 7 o'clock in the evening, and there's like all these like posh kind of art people there, like sipping like their fancy red wine, being like, and you're just like, do you have any idea what is going on or what you're watching? It's funny.
I think it's good to kind of like, I guess people need to see
challenged.
Yeah, people need to experience different things, whether like, and say what you will about, arts people or whatever, but it is like, you're creating a space for people to essentially interpret like what could possibly be very abstract kind of ideas, and you're getting people into a space to really use their brain here and like to think about like, what the fuck did I just see? Like, and sometimes it can be like a very personal experience, and it's not necessarily like there's no right or wrong here, because that's something that you've,
it's all subjective.
Exactly.
So do you have any further plans to do more stuff in that area of your practice?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think like some of it, I don't know. It's interesting. Like because my family moved here, we're immigrants. I come from a very academic family. I really wanted to go to art school. I actually really wanted to do goldsmithing, but I was not allowed. It's very classic, like typical, immigrant Asian family. But I think that, my 19-year-old nephew just got into VCA, so we're all like, yes, you've broken the, the generational expectation of doing like some academic course at uni.
Right, but didn't you do fashion? Like, isn't that
I
what
did,
you
I
studied?
did, I did. I studied like, I studied communications and then I studied fashion design. But fashion design is not quite art school because you can still, exist in,
In the commercial hellscape.
exactly. I think maybe the immigrant mentality is like, how are you going to make money
Yeah.
from doing art? And in some ways, I think that has been really beneficial. My creative practice isn't something that I rely on. I'm not the exploit. I'm not the commodity, and it has its own benefits that's not monetary, and I'm not reliant on that. And that is I guess that's also the privilege because I can do it with my own, you know, I can take it or leave it kind of thing. But it has been, very special, and I know that I'm very lucky to keep receiving invitations to do things or to make things or to collaborate. But definitely it's something that I really enjoy, and I like the experimentation part, but I also like the aspect of making. So whether that's recording, making something new, or exploring, like learning something. Like recently, for the last kind of installation to complement the video work, I was working with the fabricator who does like MIG and TIG welding, so that was really interesting, and working together with him to make a sculpture. And the next thing that I'm working on is lost wax casting, so I can do things out of bronze. And then I've been experimenting with gongs as well.
But making gongs?
Not making gongs, just playing with them. Just some Javanese gongs. But, we kind of did that for the Rinuat project as well. So just kind of a continuation from that. And, I guess like similar to, you have this other practice where you're doing, you're collecting stories and you're
yelling at technology.
You're making things, like sometimes, like, I don't know, sometimes you cannot articulate at the time why you want to kind of like do things. But I do, like, I've recently I've got a couple of other like collaborative performance works with dancers, which I've really enjoyed as well. Doing, performing, but also making the soundscapes, like doing composition and things like that.
So I wanted to ask about your collaboration with Josh.
Yep.
Obviously, the set you had for the health tour was really impressive, and ever since then, I'm like, when is this gonna actually exist in a
recording format?
Yeah, something that I can listen to outside of the live shows. Yeah. Is that something that's ever going to happen, or is it just for the live shows?
Yeah, absolutely. So, actually from that tour, Josh has made like all the music is done. So it's up to me to do the vocals. I feel like it's a really crazy like sensation. Like it feels like, it's not that I'm in a pickle or anything, but because those live sets are so improvised.
It must feel weird to try and have to replicate that in the studio.
And to record it and to have it like as a finality.
Like, even just the idea of being like, was that take strong enough? Just that would
I know.
Just feel weird given everything you've just said about how it all works for you.
No, for sure. And then I also think it's pretty wild that like we don't have any recorded material, but we've had lots of opportunities to tour and do some really like great sets, and it's all just based on like people vouching for us. You know, there's almost like there's no proof.
Yeah. Like I'd only seen like a few videos of it before.
On
putting
an
you on that tour.
iPhone.
And I was like, and I just
30 seconds.
Just kind of knew it would work, but it worked even better than I thought it would, which was cool.
Thank you. You've always been so supportive. But yeah, we will get there. I just have to go and record the vocals and be accepting that, you know, it's going to be like a documented, improvised recording, perhaps. Yeah.
And what about the KILAT album? When is that going to see the light of day?
Soon. I think we're just kind of like trying to find a way to release it, but it's done. I'll send it to you. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. But you know what? Actually, having said all that stuff about the improvised thing, I had a similar thing with recording the vocals for the new KILAT album because, a lion's share of the vocals is improvised. But then I had, kind of had to just record it.
So is it like just how it goes, or like until it's recorded and then the songs are set in stone, or are you just kind of improvising still as you go with the existing recordings live?
Like the recording, the recorded vocals are there. There's nothing I can do about it. Obviously, it's like it's in the can. It's been mastered. So, and I guess it's like a good reference point, but then I don't have to actually, obviously like one thing that I haven't let go from the formula of songwriting is, particular hooks or nuances that I'm actually kind of attached to, and it's sort of like if they're critical elements to the track, I never like forget about them, And there's something about those little elements of ideas that you never forget. So they feel quite innate. But then if there's things that like, I can sort of like change or whatever happens kind of thing.
It's funny because I remember thinking to myself last night watching this set, like that there was just something really like detached about KILAT and like your performance with it in particular, but I couldn't really quite articulate what that meant. But now it kind of makes sense, like that I got that impression or feeling from it because perhaps it is a bit detached in that way, and that you're not stuck on the tracks of being like, this is exactly how the songs go.
Yeah, you're not, I guess you're not watching something that you're already familiar with because you've seen us or heard the recordings. So maybe there is like, we don't even know. I don't even know. But yeah, I think it adds like, I think there needs to be like that volatility as well, Yep. So, and I think that, I think something that you cannot have control of is like, I guess the energy that you generate. And when you've got this kind of like quite volatile energy and it's a little bit like, I'm not just like, this is maybe not like, yes, it's familiar terrain to me, but I'm not using the same formula or like the same, structure for everything. Perhaps there's something there that the audience can also, whoever's participating engaged in the performance can sense as well. So maybe there's a bit more of a like anticipatory element of like, oh shit, what's going to happen?
There was one stage in the set last night, I think it might have been like the second or third last song or something, where it just kind of built up to this moment, and it's not like KILAT as a band with sort of like discernible like mosh parts or
Yep.
anything, but there was just this moment where everyone in the front couple of rows just kind of started moving.
Yeah.
It felt really instinctual and primal.
Definitely. And I think, and this is the thing, it's like you don't have to be familiar with something to like, you know, to feel connected to it. And I think that's a really interesting phenomenon as well. Like, obviously there is something magical about sentimental connection, you know, like I still think of like, you know, like the Download Festival where Korn played. And I was massive, like in Indonesia, like new metal was huge. I was a massive Korn fan.
Is this the one that High Tension played?
It was the one that High Tension played. And like, you know, I think like when I moved here and realized that like maybe like in that era new metal was a bit daggy or whatever, but whatever, I completely own it. But maybe that suppression as well. But like as soon as I heard the like I was like running across the field, and it was, you know, there's something like fucking magical about that kind of sentimental connection and things that you like, you know, were part of your kind of like formative years, you know, like when you discover like a genre for the first time, like, you know, this is all mind-blowing for like, you know, 14, 15-year-olds.
Yeah.
And it kind of doesn't go away, you know? And it's like that kind of revisiting. But obviously with contemporary music, you like if you're a new band or people have no idea what it is, who, you know, there's a different kind of like whole different format there in how you forge these connections.
So speaking of High Tension, it's probably what you're most well known for. So I'm assuming there's going to be people listening to this wondering what is happening with that band. Is it, will we ever see it ever again?
Yeah, like, I mean, we haven't, technically we haven't broken up. We just haven't been active. It's just been a bit dormant, which can sometimes happen, you know, in projects. So there's definitely like, absolutely there's like, you know, a possibility for something new. I think at the end of like, at the end of the, like, when we toured Purge, the last High Tension album, I felt like I'd researched and got to kind of like resolve so much, and I'm still we're all still really incredibly proud of that album. But also like we got to play with Slayer, you know, we got to play the festival with Slayer and Anthrax, and, you know, felt like that was such a peak for the band. And I don't know, I think it kind of put me in a little bit of an existential mode of like, oh shit, now like what's the next album going to be like? And then I had kind of, it gave me time to reflect about, you know, being an immigrant and like trying so hard to speak English, and then realizing, oh my God, is my music assimilation a reflection of my like process of assimilating?
Right.
And I guess wanting to explore other ways of making music, and
That must have been a miasma of thoughts, like considering that angle, and then you going back home to Jakarta to support Limp Bizkit that time.
oh my God.
You'd be like, have I completely sold out my people?
No,
nookie?
but this is the thing. It wasn't at all like that, because even Indonesians, you know, we're trying to emulate other metal bands. But I think for me it was like, there is so much richness and things that I need to explore and feel connected again to my culture, that I feel like there was like a much stronger pull there, and more challenging as well. And I think it was also like maybe not wanting to lose that connection, or especially to language and everything that it has to offer. And so I mean, I've just really enjoyed exploring that aspect. And I mean, in the future, maybe like it's just another medium, like which language you're going to write in.
It's funny,
Yeah.
you speaking like this has kind of just made me sit here and internally reflect on the cultural kind of touch points or touchstones, or just like cultural artifacts that I put into my music. And it's like science fiction blockbuster franchises and like astrology references.
Yeah.
It's like, that's just funny, a funny thing to consider.
I think, well, this is the, like, I don't know, like whatever will get you, like whatever gets your mind bubbling, you know what I mean? Like, it has to, it has to be interesting for you. Yeah, I don't know. And I think that's what sustains it, right? Because if you feel like dry and like you're having a bit of a drought, like you're running out of ideas, then you're not going to really make anything new or good. So if you're, whatever your cultural touch points are, what are your, your points of reference, like there is such an abundance of that stuff, like, and the fun part is like,
reimagining it in new ways.
Just making new stuff. Yeah.
Well, that's about an hour's worth of
Holy
podcasting
shit.
we've got in the can, Karina. Is there anything else you would like to discuss before we go back and start enjoying some live music this afternoon on this fine here, beautiful day in Ross River Resort?
Who are you most looking forward to seeing?
I was most looking forward to seeing Uada.
Mm.
And obviously they played last night and it was fucking sick.
It was so good. It was so good.
And I guess Blood Duster, just for old time's sake, tomorrow is going to be
Likewise.
fantastic.
Yep.
When was the last time you saw Blood Duster?
You know what? I think I moved to Melbourne a bit late in the game.
After they broke up?
Yeah. So I've actually never got to see them. I only know Blood Duster through lore.
I remember the first time I saw Blood Duster, I think I was either 15 or 16, like the big day out, which was like my first ever music festival.
Yeah.
And just having my mind fucking blown, like these just shirtless, like bogan, gross looking dudes on stage just swearing, and like Rizzo's fucking got a dart just hanging out of his mouth and sculling, just knocking back entire cans of VB while like blast beating and not even taking the cigarette out, just smoking while blast beating. And I was just like, this is fucking insane. What the hell is this?
That's so good. I think there's something like really affirming as well to, see like bands have a long, career span, or even just like musicians that keep playing. You know what I mean? Like there's something really like sustaining about that. And I don't know, like I turned 40 last year. I'm 41. And sometimes like, people will remind me about coming to like my first band, indie punk band, which was like almost 20 years ago. And you feel kind of like a bit of a vampire because you're seeing all the like genres come back in fashion. It's like, the cycles of like, music is like similar to, fashion trends and things
like all
that.
like you were talking about new metal before, and like I had all these like, crazy new metal shirts, and then I started getting into like hardcore and metalcore, and it was like so not cool to be into that at that time, and so I regrettably like got rid of half of that shit.
Oh
and then
no,
like
not
my Korn t-shirt. And then like 5-10 years later, it's like those bands became like the hottest shit to worship in metalcore, and you're like, yeah.
No, for sure. I had this like massive Korn sticker like that you could stick in the back of your like freaking Holden Commodore if you wanted. And I don't know what I did with it. I think I like cut it up. But yeah, fuck, I wish I still had that. All this like paraphernalia. Yeah, I don't know. I want to know more about this kind of like, I guess like these sentimental kind of cycles. But then actually it's not appealing just to our generation. It's like a whole new generation of, you know, like new metal rising again, you know.
Like the Deftones are bigger than they've ever been at this point in time. It's unreal.
Yeah, and I mean for me, Deftones was like my gate into heavy music. I remember I had like, I think my first boyfriend, and he was in this ska band. I've never liked ska.
I did. It was my gateway.
It's your gateway. And you
Because
know,
I played trumpet.
oh my God.
It was the cool way. It was the cool way to be a trumpet player.
Holy shit, that's so
So
good.
from ska, I got into punk, and then from punk, I got into metal.
Oh my God, that is so good. I love that journey. But I remember I played like a Deftones. I was around the fair, and I played like after school or whatever. And it was like, oh, this is even way too heavy for me. Like, what the fuck kind of thing. I was like, this is the best album like now ever. And you know, and I revisit it and I don't cringe. It's fucking gorgeous. But anyway, so yeah, what was my next question?
So no, we were talking about who we were looking forward to seeing. Like, are you looking forward to seeing anyone in particular?
Do you? What feeling do you get when you come to Alice Springs?
It's like, I don't know. It's polarizing, I suppose. Like, I remember the first time coming here, I just seemed to just develop a much deeper understanding of Indigenous culture and just more specifically the effect of colonialism on that. Like I'd kind of, I suppose, had taken it a little bit for granted and just not really felt the impact of it. But on a more positive note, like I guess the feeling here is just kind of a little bit electric and free, and you just kind of like so much fresh air and just open space and just the I think the scene here is really kind of exciting and motivating in a way, because they're just so disconnected from everything that it's like the ultra DIY scene of Australia, even though like in terms of music it's like more oriented towards like traditional metal. It is I think it is like the most productive DIY scene that Australia has, and that's like exciting and inspiring. Yeah,
Definitely. And no, I'm not going to ask this question.
why not?
No, so it's too existential.
No, let's get into it. If you got a
Okay,
question.
so like, okay, if someone were to ask you, like, obviously, it takes a lot to stay, you know, to maintain like participating in the community, doing the work that you do, playing music, you know, going to shows, all of those things. If someone were to ask you, like, why do you do it? Like, what's the benefit? If you could, like, kind of succinctly put how, like, what's the benefit?
That is a hard question to answer, because, you know, it has become the art, and all the reasons I got into being excited about it all in the first place has become so integral to just basic, you know, social life, friendship, like paying the bills. Like it's kind of, it has literally, music has actually become like basically almost every aspect of my life in some way or another. And at this point it's like I'm committed. Like I think I sort of made the internal kind of acknowledgement maybe like 15, 20 years ago at this point, where I was like, all right, well, I'm sort of in for this forever now. Like I remember someone telling me once that you're either, you know, as like a metalhead or a heavy music fan or whatever they said, it was like you either get over it by the time you're 30 or you're in it forever.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm definitely in it forever. And I don't go to as many shows as I used to now because I live, you know, an hour out of town.
Yep.
And I have so many animals and everything to look after, and especially with not drinking anymore, that's like made it a little bit. I think it's made it a little bit more special in a way. All of those factors, because I used to just go to gigs just because it was easy, and it's just what I did, like 3 or 4 nights a week, and I just, you know, addicted to just drinking all the time and partying, and so it just was just a good excuse. But it's like now if I go to a show, it's because I really want to go. And every now and then I'll get like quite overwhelmed by just like, I guess, social anxiety, just fear, and just not wanting to like leave my safe little bubble, not wanting to say goodbye to the cats and just make that uncomfortable journey of just getting in the car and going into the city for a gig or whatever, and knowing that I won't have the safety net of a beer to just chill. And but if I push through that now and go to a show, it's happened to me a couple of times in the last month, and if the show's like particularly good or there's like a bunch of really great friends there, I'll just be just driving home like over the fucking moon, just like so happy, like I'm so glad I fucking pulled myself off the couch to go and do that tonight. And yeah.
No, for sure. I definitely understand the journey having, like, I mean, I don't live as far out as you, but I, you know, like, I drink. So I definitely have that comfort, but I totally get it. And, but you also get to just tour. So you still get to see shows and get all the kind of like, you know, social nourishment, I guess, from organizing and seeing things happen.
Yeah. It is a very hard question to just answer succinctly, but there's a lot of reasons why I still do it. But and even with this podcast, I think I've sort of touched on it earlier before we started recording. Perhaps it's very punishing sometimes, and I end up kicking myself, thinking like if like there's tech stuff going wrong, or it's just like a slog to go, hey, I got to sit down and spend like 2 or 3 hours to actually edit this and get it done. It's just a real pain in the ass. And I'm kind of like, I could have just not done this podcast and just be like chilling right now. Yeah. But then when you have like awesome chats like this, and especially when you like get the end result out and it like looks and sounds great, and you're just like, that's a cool conversation. It's interesting, and I think people will enjoy it. And I'm glad I got that out there. And even sometimes like episodes will just get not that many streams or whatever, but I enjoyed it, and it's like, yeah, that's worth it.
And you know, that's your like that's your work, that's your output, but that's also something that I really admire about you. Like you had a job where you had to basically make, you know, and having like filled in for you, it's a fucking great deal of work. Not just the work itself, but like the curating, you know, the consideration, and then especially if you have an interview, having to like, you know, think about, you know, the questions and then the editing. Like this is so much work, but you've managed to sustain doing this every week, and you don't have to do that job anymore, but then you're doing this. It's so kind of like this amazing. I think it's fucking awesome.
It's nice because I just didn't like, I just wasn't actually sure, you know, if I still wanted to do it, because I got into music journalism because I wanted to like find out what made all my musician like idols or whatever, like all the bands I like, what made them tick, like why their album was this or that or blah blah blah. I wanted to know what the whole process was. And then I you know, did it for like free or like pocket money or fucking like free CDs or like guest list basically for like so long, and then it didn't become like something that paid my bills until Triple J. And then coming out of that, I was like, do I still care? Am I still going to like want to do something like this? And once the idea for the pod had kind of like formally kind of come together in my brain, it was like, I got excited about it, and just the idea of actually being able to just do it for the love of it again and not having to worry about anything to do with it because it's like a government thing or because I have to do it every week because I need to do it to, otherwise, you know, my phone's going to get disconnected and I'm not going to have somewhere to live. Like,
Yeah.
it's cool just to do it because I want to do it. And then occasionally I'm talking to like someone I have not met before or like from like a band I really love. But like for the most part, it's just me having cool chats with people that I've known for like, 10, 20 years? How long have we known each other?
Probably like,
it was like
10-ish years.
It was that King Parrot tour, right? It was the first time we ever probably got to know each other.
Yeah, 2014.
Yeah, so 11 years.
2015, yeah. Yeah, that's so epic. Yeah. No, it's really good. I'm glad you're doing it. I think it's a reflection of I guess who you are as a person, that you do care. You have a genuine interest, and you you're a discerning person. You like it's beyond just, going to shows, loving fucking metal or whatever. And it's important. And I think that what is affirming and inspiring is that you just go and do it. You just go and make the thing happen. You go and publish the thing. People are so precious about publishing, putting anything out, actually just getting off their ass and like doing anything.
Yeah,
So.
I noticed. I noticed on a recent episode that I'd kind of fucked up because I've started putting like highlight clips at the start of the YouTubes, just so people can get like a little sample before I go into the intro. And I noticed that I'd like fucked up the edit a little bit after I'd already sort of uploaded it and it cut to a shot of me like burping. And then I just went, you know what?
Yeah, fuck it.
Upload.
Yeah. Fuck it. Yeah, no need to be so precious. Life is so short, and like if you feel compelled to do the work, then do it. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like I've committed to it, and I basically told myself I've committed to doing this for at least a year.
Yep, love it.
And if I'm still enjoying it in a year, like,
Keep
it going. Reassess in a year, see where it's at. But yeah, I want to give it a shot for at least a year. I'd like to make some money out of it eventually, somehow, through some kind of monetization, but that's not why I've started doing it.
It'll happen. Don't worry. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you, Karina. Love and respect you dearly. This has been a great chat. Thanks for listening to Music Is My Life. This podcast is self-produced by me, Lachlan Watt. I'd like to thank Audio Technica Australia for providing the high-quality equipment that has made this possible, as well as Patrick Galvin at Hollowbone Studio for the design. The killer theme music that you are currently hearing was written by the legends TJ Cowgill and Sam Saljuki. Catch you in the next episode.